Alright, so remember how I told you guys to never jump the gun on allegations and things like that? Well, the reason why I told you that is because we don't know 100% if the allegations are true or if they are false. And it looks like in this case with Dream, he was innocent the whole time despite all of the people who were claiming that he is a groomer, that he's a P-word, and many other things. Now you guys are probably wondering, Breone, how do you know that he's innocent and that these people were lying and they were slandering him? And it turns out he actually happens to be innocent. Well, yes guys, it looks like Dream finally made his response video that he said he was going to make. And yeah, when I mean he debunked everything, he literally debunked everything. We're not even just talking about allegations, we're talking about controversies that he had. As you guys can see right here, here are all the chapters to this video. This video happens to be almost an hour and 30 minutes long. And we can see right here the face leak photo. Now I'll just summarize it since I'm not going to be showing that part of the video in my video here. You guys remember how people were claiming that this right here is Dream? Well, it actually turns out that that is true, and it has now been confirmed by Dream. And the reason why he didn't originally come out and say it was him after he revealed his face, because that image in a way happened to be linked to some personal stuff like personal information or whatever, like maybe his school or something at the time. And he really didn't feel comfortable, you know, saying that that was him, admitting that that was him. And yeah, it's actually pretty interesting that he included this in this video, and I figured that I would let you guys know about that. Alright, so here are some of the other chapters that are in here too. We got the speedrun cheating scandal, we got housing an abuser, mana treed, I think that's how you say it, posting thirst traps. I don't really know what he meant by that, but I mean, it really has nothing to do with addressing the allegations. Why would a grown man use Snapchat? I mean, I don't know, but who cares? Really, who cares? Just because some bad stuff happened on it before with other people out there in the world doesn't now mean that adults are prohibited from using it. Like, there are bad people everywhere on every social platform and everywhere in life. That's what I really don't understand when it comes down to people and how they feel about grown adults using Snapchat. Like, realistically, who cares? Dream is weird. In this part of the video, he talks about that one time where he was selling his baby pictures or whatever on like a USB stick. Personally, something that I would not do. It's kind of weird. I don't even know if he actually like sold those photos to people or whatever, but still, that's pretty weird. But would I go as far as to call you like a P-word or a groomer because you did something weird? No, I would not. Now, when the video hits the 23-minute mark, he goes into talking about the allegations, in which first he talks about Anastasia, and you guys would know about that if you've been around the channel for a decent amount of time, because I talked about Anastasia when the allegations came out, and the allegations that she made against Dream weren't really as believable because she really didn't back it up. You know, she did show a picture of like DMs with Dream, but these easily could have been photoshopped, and she talked about how Dream did this and he did that in tweets and stuff like that. But you know, people can lie about things. Here's Dream debunking Anastasia.
Over the last year and a half, there's been a bunch of really serious allegations made against me. Some of them were quickly disproved, others admitted they were lying, but there's still some that I'm gonna address in this video. The first allegation made against me was pretty quickly discarded. It was an allegation of flirting and had some inconsistencies. I'm still taking it seriously though and don't want to overlook anything, so I'm gonna talk about it now. The first ever allegations against me that were spread pretty far were made the day after my face reveal, on October 3rd, 2022. A girl named Anastasia tweeted out, "He's only face revealing because he's scared that I'll do it first." And then she followed it up by tweeting, "I'm too tired / real life struggling to get involved, but the YouTuber trending right now already face revealed to me years ago when he was flirting with me when I was a minor." Obviously, because of my face reveal, it took off, pointing out inconsistencies, asking questions, and so on. I didn't have any inappropriate contact with this person. I didn't have any sexual contact with this person. I hardly even remember who this person is at all. And the only messages I could even find with this person were friendly Twitter DMs. And even in those Twitter DMs, I mentioned that they had 18 in their bio, which they contradict. I definitely didn't face reveal to them. That's an obvious lie. Almost nobody knew what I looked like at all before my face reveal. Not even most of my best friends that had known me my entire life, let alone someone I don't even remember talking to at all. She posted a screenshot of some texts and claimed that they were from me. She showed a screenshot of my TikTok being from your contacts to try and prove that the texts were from me, which people quickly pointed out isn't possible because I have a Google Voice number hooked up to my TikTok, which isn't iMessage like the text. And again, she never claimed any sexual misconduct. She never claimed anything related to nudity or sexting. This was also in early 2020 and she had 18 in her bio. With everything and all the inconsistencies, wasn't taking that seriously. But it's still worth noting because people still somehow say this is one of 3 victims of mine.
Now in the next part of the video, he talks about him having DM conversations with his fans and how people were calling him weird for having conversations with his fans in DMs. And this is essentially what he had to say about that.
I see some people say, why respond to fans at all? Or that it doesn't matter what Dream said. The fact that he responded to a fan is creepy. And people saying that are missing a little bit of nuance. First of all, back when I started YouTube in 2019, obviously I had a very small community, even moving into mid-2020 before the Dream SMP. It's very common that when you have a smaller community, you're trying to grow your community. And part of how you do that is by interacting with people and responding and being active. I've always been pretty active in my community, and when I was really small, I used to respond to just about literally everyone that DM'd me, even if it was just one-word answers. Obviously later later on, and as I grew, I replied less and less, and things evolved over time with my fan base growth. Like, as an example, when I started my public Snapchat in 2019, I ran the account, but in early 2020, because I was growing, I completely passed the reins off to someone else, and pretty much never logged into it ever again.
Hi, I would like to remain anonymous, so I'm just going to be calling myself Rebecca. I used to run Dream Snapchat starting in 2020. I did that for probably around a year, and I would like read through all the messages, and I'd screenshot art or funny comments, and I would respond when it was appropriate. There is definitely nothing weird going on this account. Dream hardly even logged into it, and it was mainly me. He never used it inappropriately, and although I no longer work for Dream, I am not aware of him ever acting inappropriate with fans or anyone underage.
Most, if not all, of the Snapchats I've posted since then have been through the manager account feature, meaning I use my normal Snapchat and post to my other account like a story.
Now, when you become a really big creator or a really big brand or whatever, and your socials start blowing up and you start having a lot to manage, often a lot of people and brands will hire other people to help manage their whole operation. So hearing this and hearing about how he had somebody managing his Snapchat sounds totally normal, and I believe it. Also, when it comes down to talking to your fans, no matter what size you are, I don't see an issue with it, except if things start going weird. Like personally, if somebody DMs me and says they enjoy the content and they appreciate what I'm doing and all that, I'll thank them. And if they ask any questions, for the most part, I'll respond. So I guess as long as you keep things professional and weird things don't happen, I think responding to fans is a-okay. That's just my opinion. Now moving on, he talks about Amanda, which happens to be the other girl who came out against Dream. I also talked about her and the stuff that she alleged in a video back in 2020 when all this was going down. And her story definitely had a lot more to it. She alleged that Dream groomed her back in September of 2020 when she was 17 and he was 21 years old, as far as I'm aware. Now, since Dream explains this better than me because it's his situation, here's Dream to talk about it.
The second allegation is what I'm going to talk about in extreme detail. Second allegation came out soon after the first and said that the first allegation was why they were sharing their story. It was from a girl that claimed that when she was 17, we inappropriately messaged. This did not happen. Let's get into the details. Continuing with the transcript, now we get to the very end, which was our first real conversation. This one was about music, which makes sense. It's something I'm really passionate about. At the time, I was working on a song called Trust Issues and some other random music projects, and in the middle of us talking about music, I gave her my Snapchat. I said, add me on Snapchat, and she said, sure thing, just added you. I was sharing music snippets with a bunch of people at the time, and as we were talking about music, I wanted to share them with her. And I'm obviously not going to send snippets of a new song over Instagram. Now, I've pretty much always used Snapchat as one of my main forms of communication. It was actually the first social media I ever got because a friend of mine wanted to start a streak with me, and it's something I started using a lot more when I became faceless on YouTube, because yeah, stuff is deleted. You don't have to stress over people analyzing or leaking everything you say. And for me, even for something as simple as a picture of my cat, people used to zoom into my cat's eyes to look at the reflection to try and dox me. This was not uncommon at all. So of course I felt much more comfortable using Snapchat during this period, especially with people that I wasn't great friends with, but even with my best friends. Now let's go over her actual claims in detail. Amanda claims that after I added her on Snapchat on January 17th, 2022, that we started sexting. She showed that her birthday, when she would turn 18, is on February 17th, exactly a month later. She claims that we sexted from around the 17th of January, the day I added her on Snapchat, to the 10th of February, and then that it stopped. She said that while she was still underage, we exchanged nudes. Her evidence of this was 2 photos of supposedly me from after she was 18 complimenting her. Her final important claim was that she traveled to Orlando in August and that we planned to meet up and have sex. And I just want to make sure that I blatantly deny this before continuing. None of this is true. And now I'm going into more detail. Now, unfortunately, because she didn't provide any proof of these things, it's difficult to be specific about some of the things she claimed. It's much easier to completely make up that something happened than it is to prove that it never did. Like if I said right now, prove to me 100% that you never sexted a specific person that you've had on Snapchat at any point, it would be impossible to do. But what I can do is lay out all the inconsistencies, talk about the proven lies, the specifics, point out questions that were never asked, and provide all of the evidence that I have. And I believe that luckily, that's way more than enough. So first, I want to talk about the timeline. Every contact we've ever had with each other before January 17th is the Instagram DMs, which I just read to you, which are now all public in their entirety in the description of this video, other than the messages that she deleted. She claims that sexting started around January 17th and that sexting stopped February 10th.
So from the 17th to maybe February 10th is the time frame where we were sexting.
So even if we say that it started a couple weeks before it stopped, you'd have to believe that every message you've just seen, we went from that to sexting days later in 2022 before my face reveal. Even if you want to give her the maximum benefit of doubt and say that she confused the timeline, she turned 18 on the 17th, 1 week after she claimed the sexting stopped. So there's not much leeway. Secondly, we can talk about her Twitter. She tweeted out defending me from hate on my face reveal 10 days before the allegations and was liking my tweets, including a subscriber milestone one tweet 2 days before she tweeted her allegations. With the timing of the face reveal and her allegation, my belief is that there was a lot of hate and that it's easy to get spiteful and join in on a hate train. I had ignored multiple of her Instagram DMs and Snapchat messages in recent months, and I had also made a new Snapchat that I didn't add her on. I still used my old Snapchat occasionally, but I just rarely responded. That's my only real explanation for why she flipped so quickly from being publicly positive to me to lying about me, but I guess I'll never really know.
In the next chapter of this video, he talks about his pre-face reveal living situation, in which he talks about being really paranoid about anybody finding out who he was or where he lived, or having people potentially spy on him and looking into his house and stuff like that. And I mean, realistically, nobody really knew who he was, like what he looked like. So I don't know why he was that paranoid. I mean, maybe that's because, you know, he blew up really fast and so many people were talking about him. I don't know, but if it were me, I probably wouldn't be that paranoid. But essentially during this chapter, to prove that he really didn't go outside before he did his face reveal, he decided to call his mom and ask her how many times that he has left the house before he revealed his face. Just take a look.
How many times do you think that I left the house between 2021 and my face reveal?
Wow, I don't know, 3? Maybe 4.
What did I leave the house for whenever I left the house?
Well, I know you went to the dentist 3 times, and then I think one other time was when you had the kidney stones.
So oh yeah, you're the hospital.
I think those were the only times you left the house. And we were worried because we didn't want you to call 911 because we didn't even know if they would come because of all the fake swattings and everything. So I had to come get you and take you to the hospital. So it was probably 5 times that you left.
Okay. What was the process when we did leave the house? What was the process like?
Crazy. I pulled into the garage, shut the garage door. You would get in the back seat, way back of the van, with a blanket over yourself, and you wouldn't come out from under the blanket until we were on the highway.
I was a little paranoid.
A little bit.
What was the inside of the house like? What precautions did we take?
Oh my gosh, it was like a cave. Every window was covered, even the high windows that were arches. We had to like tape curtains over them so that even a drone wouldn't be able to see in. Everything was covered. Yeah, so we had the banker come to the house because you wouldn't go out of the house, but we needed to set up bank accounts. Whatever it was that needed to happen, we were the ones that did it so that you didn't have to go out.
She said she would provide proof of the fact that she told me she was 17 and that I still sexted her tomorrow.
But I didn't, and that proof will come out tomorrow.
And guess what? She never posted proof, because this never happened. She tweeted out thanking people for all the support and claimed at the end that I deleted our DMs, right as she tweeted this. And specifically said, my end too, which means her DMs too. Well, I just want to point out that this is impossible. There's not a single mainstream social media platform that lets you delete both people's messages. And we only had each other on Instagram and Snapchat, where you can't do that on either. She claimed that she was laughing and was going to prove people wrong with pictures of my penis, to which, again, never happened. Lastly, she tweeted saying that she's getting the law involved and going to the police. Said she's going to put me in jail unless I confess. She said she would provide more evidence. She didn't. She said she would upload her Snapchat logs. She didn't. She said she would sue me. She didn't. And now I'm making this video. She provided absolutely no proof for any of her claims and said that she didn't have any because she wanted her favorite YouTuber to trust her, which could be a completely valid argument, except the pictures that she posted were from a second phone, meaning there was no risk of me knowing. She was taking pictures of compliments from a second phone, but has no evidence of anything sexual, has no evidence of us planning to meet up and have sex, apparently from after these pictures were secretly taken, has no evidence of a singular inappropriate message from me or her, or even anything at all that isn't a story reply from Snapchat's story page of all your friends. What's more likely? She happens to have no evidence of anything she's claiming, even from things she claimed happened after she was taking pictures secretly using a second phone, or she doesn't have any evidence because it didn't happen. She factually deleted and hid messages. She factually lied about me deleting messages that I didn't. She called people doubting her jealous of her, was banned from streamers' chats before this for posting sexual things, and she lied about having specific pieces of evidence that she never provided because they don't exist. If she's willing to factually lie, cover up, and hide things, how can you trust anything else she says as being representative of the truth? Lastly, once again, she said she was going to take legal action. She then tweeted a picture of the inside of a police station and also said she'll come back with more evidence, to be patient, that it's a process, and that it could be days. And that's her last tweet. It's been almost a year and a half now. Obviously, nothing happened. I waited and waited. Then I got impatient, so I asked my legal team to look more into it. They got all of her information, and after filing many requests, they couldn't find anything.
Now in the next chapter, he talks about what happened after this situation, which essentially, to sum it up for you guys, he talks about how he was doxxed and he was swatted. He talks about all the hate and slander that was going around and how he just felt really demotivated to post any content. Then he went on to go talk about the QSMP situation. And yeah, I don't feel like I need to go over that. Now in the next part of the video, he talks about Gumball versus Dream, a more recent controversy that happened where he went back and forth on Twitter with Gumball's voice actor, Nicholas Cantu. I also covered that on my channel, and Dream talks more about this situation in this chapter. Now, like I said before, I don't really like Nicholas Cantu, and I mean, you guys can say all you want about Nicholas Cantu destroying Dream, but in my opinion, he broke the law. He was underage drinking. He said a lot of stupid things, and just because you're underage drinking or you're drunk just in general, that doesn't make it okay to say really hateful shit or doing bad things like hitting Dream. Now, what I found surprising about this video is that he was actually able to get the Uber driver in this video for an interview. I thought that that was pretty cool, and this Uber driver genuinely seems like a good person. Now, a little bit further in the video, he talks about a more recent allegation that came out against him, which I also talked about on my channel. If you guys didn't hear about the moaning allegations, that's what Dream is calling them, in which in my video, I covered the allegations and what had been alleged, and I went over the video that had the moaning that they alleged was Dream. And ever since I talked about that, it looks like as of a few days ago, more has unfolded about that from a burner account that goes by the name of Burner22. And to essentially just sum it up for you guys, so that the video will not be too long, so I can save your time, Dream debunks the allegations once again, and it turns out that this burner account was lying, and they were claiming that this person, James, all because some burner account that doesn't like Dream wanted to ruin and smear Dream. Now, I'm not really going to talk about this any further because I think you guys get the point. This video was sort of supposed to be like a summary of his video since it's like an hour long, and of course I'm not going to cover everything, I'm just going to summarize it. So if you want to hear about everything that went down, and you want to hear it how Dream said it, and you want to watch Dream's movie, feel free to go to his channel and watch it. I actually highly recommend it because in order to make my video, I had to watch the whole thing, and I think you should too. Now, okay, you guys are probably wondering, well, Breone, what did you think about this response? Well, my answer to that question would be this was actually a really good response from Dream. There's just one problem I have with it though. It's like, man, Dream, you would have saved yourself so much trouble if you made this video a long time ago. And I know that this video was spot on and whatnot, but this video should have came out like last year when this all went down. It would have saved you all the harassment you were getting and the damage to your career. And also, speaking of damage to his career, it actually turns out that this burner account really isn't going to get any repercussions for what they did because you really can't see who's behind this burner account. Now, when it comes down to that, as far as I'm aware, even if you can't see who it is, you still might be able to sue. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Now, besides all that, I think I'm going to wrap up the video right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you thought that this was a good video and you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so the video will get promoted more in the algorithm so more people will see it. Now, like I do in every video, I am going to shout out my members. Thank you guys so much for being members to the channel. It means the absolute world to me, and I really appreciate your extra support. Now, if you had any questions, comments, concerns, or opinions about anything, make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section down below. And with that being said, my name is Breone, and I will see you in my next video. Peace.
Shit it all.